Well, howdy everybody. Welcome back. Welcome to my shop. Well, actually today we're in the tool room. And, yep, you guessed it. We're getting ready to go to work on this here apron. I'm still a little apprehensive about it, but I've read the book I think enough times. So let's just jump in and get to it. I always got the book handy in case I need it. Anyway, these here are the two screws that come down through the saddle that hold the apron up. Take those out first. We're going to remove the hand wheel. And we have a tapered pin. I don't know how well you can see that. I hope so. Right back here. So we need to figure out which is the big side and which is the little side. And that definitely looks smaller to me. So let's drive that puppy out. Well, that was easy. We like that. Now if the hand wheel comes off is easy. To be moving a bit. There it goes. Alright. There's that part here. I'm working on this upside down because the way I got my camera mounted for you to see it right side up. Next thing we want to do is start the drive pin out of the selector here. So we got to get it all the way down in this lower hole. It's right down in there, kind of hard to see, but it's there. And we're not going to take it all the way out just yet. We just want to get it part way out so we can get to it later. And we'll put that back in there. Now we're going to flip this over. Next thing we're going to do is try to remove this shaft, which is the hand wheel shaft. Boy, this thing is filthy. Probably should have wore some gloves or something. I think that might be already. I want it to come out, but it's binding. The teeth of this bigger gear are binding with the shaft of the lower shaft we need to remove. Now, I have noticed in the book a couple of mistakes, and here's one of them that they have in there. And I'm going to contact Alien and tell them about it so they can get it right for somebody else. They say that if you have a problem getting the hand wheel shaft out because of interference with this gear, to go to step 17, or 15, I'm sorry. They say step 15. Step 15 deals with the gearbox. So they kind of made a little boo-boo there. Little editing mistake. There she goes. You just kind of got to play around with that a little bit. Hot dang. Alright, now we're going to go back over to the other side again. And we're going to take this screw out. And this is a left-hand screw. Actually, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Next thing we need to do is remove that traverse gear shaft. And there's a set screw right there we need to pull out. Really dirty. There she goes. That is a 5/32 set screw on my apron. 5/32. So you know for yours. Boy, that's filthy. I think there's supposed to be a wick in there. And there isn't one. We'll make sure we get one in there when we put her back together. before I do that, on the other side, I'm going to take this gearbox cover off. Use a smaller screwdriver. Four screws on here. Gunk. Just loaded with gunk. Now we can go back and take this. That is, again, a left-hand thread. So to take it out, we want to, boy, that's a small slot in that for being so long. Loosen to tighten. There you go, come on. Doesn't look like that's coming out. I was just turning around behind me looking at the book, trying to see what they're saying about this, and I'm doing everything right, but oops, I came the pin out of that guy. I'm doing what they're telling me to do, but they're saying to remove that screw, but it does not want to seem to come out. Alright, we got the screw out. Silly me. I knew it was a left-hand thread, but I was going the wrong way. That's typical. Now the star wheel should just thread right off of there, which it does. There we are. And now we are on to the next step. Alright, I'm going to take these two nuts off next. Well, these are the half nuts. I don't think that's going to fit on there. Oh, no, 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 no. All the clutch parts came out. I don't think that was supposed to happen. Well greased and filthy dirty. Look at all that crud built up in there. Well, and it came out. Let's hope we can get it back together. Alright, these should come out, but they don't seem to want to, so we'll do a little light tapping on them. I'm going to put those nuts back on there to protect those threads until I get it loosened and started. Okay, there's one, and that is the half nut. Well, the puppy is big compared to some machines. Look at all that crud. I know this thing hasn't been cleaned or been reworked in a long time. And the other half nut. We're making some progress now. Now we're coming down. We're going to remove this handle here. We have to remove this set screw and retaining pin, and there's supposed to be a spring in there too. There's the set screw. You can kind of see a spring right there. Okay, there's the spring. There's a safety mechanism here. I don't know how well you can see it. It's right down in here. This is a pin that when the half nuts are engaged, you cannot drive the cross feed slide. That's what this selector drives, your cross feed. There, she come out of the way. And when the half nuts are engaged, you can't engage that one. Can't use them both at the same time. There we go. Yeah, let's see if we can get that pin out of there. There it is. Whew! That was a project. Alright, now that's a taper pin, so I want to put it back in there so I know which one it goes in, since there's two taper pins in this puppy dog. Now we're going to remove the safety pin, which you can see it right there and right down in there. And there's a hole right over here that goes clear through the casting. Oh, should have had that off already. I missed that part. You got to slide this all the way through. Just like so. Let me get rid of the... Well, there it is, all apart. I am a foul ball sometimes. I get wrapped up in what I'm doing and I forget what I'm doing. I shut the camera off earlier when I was fighting with the screw on the star nut, and when I got it off, I totally forgot to turn the camera back on, and here I've been like a fool, thinking the camera was on, taking all this apart, talking to you, telling you about it. My wife even came in, talked to me, and asked me if I could edit that out, and I said, of course I can, dear. She says, good, I don't want to be on YouTube. And I said, don't worry. Finished up, closed it out, reached up to turn the camera, and noticed that it was off. Oh boy, I tell you what, sometimes, well, I'm new at this and I'm still learning. Anyway, there's a few more parts in here, screws, part of the clutch. It fell out on me, so I'm hoping I can get it back together properly. Looks like all the parts are there. We'll find out when we go to do it. Anyway, folks, there it is. She's all apart. It is filthy dirty. There. See how clean my finger is, and look at that crud coming out of there. This is a perfect example of why you do not want to use an air hose on your lathe when you're blowing chips away from your work. Take a bench brush broom and brush them away. That air hose gets those chips flying everywhere at a high velocity, and they'll come around the bottom of the saddle, and they'll get wedged up in here and grab onto that grease, and that grease will hold them, and it'll just keep building up and building up and building up to where you can't even hardly move it anymore. Look at this half nut. Look at that thick buildup of crud on that half nut. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. You don't want that. That'll ruin the performance of your lathe real quick. Well, that's about it for this episode. Next time I'll have it all cleaned up, painted, and we'll put it back together, and I'll make sure I turn the camera on so you can see how it goes back together. In the meantime, have a good one. Thanks for stopping by. Please click like and subscribe. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.